Welcome to the Contrarians. Tonight's topic, forgotten metal from the 80s. We've got a great panel here, a good discussion. We want to hear from you in the chat. Forgotten metal of the 80s. Let's do it. Welcome to the Contrarians, and tonight we have a great panel discussion. We do want to hear from you in the chat, by the way. Forgotten metal of the 80s. So all these gentlemen have come here. They obviously, I don't know how many selections they've made, but damn it, we're going to do this topic, and we will go an hour. And I do want to welcome Alex, the Elder of Rock, and of course, Matt. Matt's been here from the beginning of the Contrarians, so it's always nice to see Matt on a panel. But, you know, it's always nice to see everybody here, so we appreciate it. All right, so I think we'll just go one, and we'll keep going around until you guys don't have anything more to say. How's that sound? Sure. So let's do this. I'm going to start with Alex. We'll go to the Elder, and then Matt, and then we'll just loop around. All right, Alex, what's your first pick? Nice to see you tonight.
Thank you. Nice to be back. I'm excited about this. This is one of my genres. I mean, I started as a teenager. My record collection was built on 80s heavy metal, and it's grown since then. And I like obscure.
Looks big.
Yeah. And I like obscure and I like, off the beaten path. One thing I will say, Grant, that I'm very excited about tonight is that no one will have the Smiths as a selection.
Probably not. No, because they don't fit in that metal genre.
Right. They fit nowhere. But
they did do a thrash record. I thought they did a thrash. I thought they did a thrash record.
No.
So for this, again, I could have gone like super obscure and picked bands that the members of the bands don't even remember they're in. But I did it. I tried not to. I was going to do, we get this right, Alien. I know you're a big fan of Alien, Grant.
I've never even heard of them.
Come on now. I was going to do...
Matt, have you heard Alien? Or Elder, have you guys heard of Alien?
That album does look familiar. I don't know if I've ever heard them, but I think I've seen that album.
The singer from Alien is Frank Starr, who went on to be in The Four Horsemen.
Okay.
Yeah. I could have done Lions Breed. Grant, you're a big Lions Breed
fan.
Love
Lions Breed. That's one of my favorites. I play that after the Smiths.
I could have done Spellbound. You're in the Spellbound army, aren't you, Grant?
I love them.
Yeah. So I just gave you some good bands. The next time you're with Brendan, you can now stump him.
There's your next listening party.
I go with Brendan. If Brendan doesn't have that on CD, we're doomed. Yeah. Well, he does have a turntable.
No, but seriously, this is what I'm starting with.
All right.
Black and Blue.
Black and Blue. Yeah. I know that record. Yeah.
Yes. And so people do. They're not super obscure, but they are a band that absolutely did not get the recognition that they deserved. So formed in 81, it's Jamie St. James on vocals and Tommy Thayer on guitar. And we'll talk about Tommy Thayer.
Never heard of him.
Where he went on to. So a Portland, Oregon band, they catch a break right away, and in 82 they get a song on the Metal Massacre 1, put out by Metal Blade Records. Now they always seem to be one step behind though. While it was on the first volume, it was on the second pressing. Steeler was on the first pressing. They got signed to Shrapnel. That song got removed. Black and Blue gets put on. So it's still a break. They moved to LA, and within 6 months they signed to Geffen. So again, big label. They have money behind them. This is the debut album, produced, again, 1984, produced by Dieter Dierks. So you're talking about somebody coming off of Accept and the Scorpions. He's got the chops to produce. The song Chains Around Heaven, that's the one that was on the Metal Massacre 1. The hit off of this was Hold On to 18. So, in fact, on my way home tonight on Hair Nation, they actually played that song. But that's like the one and only song that anybody remembers of Black and Blue. This album just did not take off. So second album comes out, Without Love. This is 1985, produced by Bruce Fairbairn. Okay, another big name. But again, 1985. So he's coming off of Loverboy success. He's coming off of Crocus the Blitz. But this is a year before Slippery When Wet. This is 2 years before Permanent Vacation. Loaded with hits, a little bit lighter. I'm sure the record label said, let's lighten it up and write some hit songs. Nothing off of this takes off. Had these songs been on Bon Jovi or Aerosmith, I'm telling you, they would have been hits. Rockin' on Heaven's Door, Without Love. Miss Mystery did get a little bit of airplay, but again, talk about being one step behind. It makes it into the Vision Quest movie. And when I say movie, I don't mean soundtrack. It was in the movie. It didn't make the soundtrack. It was a B-side to the Madonna single off of the album. So again, it's just like everything they do, it's, a step backwards. So anyway, that goes into their third album. So this is Nasty Nasty. This is now produced by Gene Simmons, who also co-writes a few songs on here. Again, could have been hit after hit. Nasty Nasty, a great lead-off track. Kiss of Death, 12 O'Clock High. This gets back to their heavier side, but these are catchy, memorable songs that people just don't pay attention to. So Geffen gives them one more shot. And he also, Gene Simmons produced It Does Nothing, and Black and Blue, unfortunately, goes away. But to me, they were right there with the Crews and the Dokkens, the Bon Jovis. They had incredible songs that just didn't catch an audience. So they break up. Jamie St. James forms a band called Freight Train Jane, which only puts out one album in Japan. It goes nowhere. Tommy Thayer has a little more success. He joins a little-known band, Kiss, replaces Ace Frehley for quite a few years. So this is just, again, a story of a band being wrong place, wrong time. It's unfortunate. Now, and it will say, yes, people will say, I remember Black and Blue. They're not that forgotten. Well, I would question, do you own any of their albums? Have you ever owned any of their albums? And do you know anything other than Hold On to 18? And just before we went on here, I just did a check on Spotify because I wondered how many people are really listening to Black and Blue. They have 30,000 streams a month. That's compared to Dokken at 853,000 and Motley Crue at 9.7 million. So if anybody out there says, I remember Black and Blue and I like Black and Blue, wow. I say, no way if they're only getting 30,000. So if you don't remember this band, or if you do and haven't listened to them for a while, I urge you to go back and check out these first 4 albums. They did do a reunion album a number of years ago without Tommy Thayer, and they did just put out 2 new songs again without Tommy Thayer. They're good. They're good, but they don't. Jamie St. James and Tommy Thayer as a tandem wrote great songs, and without him there, just a little something off. I will also say quickly, Jamie St. James for a short period of time also fronted Warrant, replacing Janny Lane, and they put out one album with him. So he's been out there. He's been on the scene. Black and Blue just deserves a lot more love than they ever got.
And they were just on the Kiss cruise, and Tommy Thayer played with them for a couple songs.
Yeah. But again, I urge you to listen to Without Love, and just in your mind, play some of those songs in the hands of John Bon Jovi, or put them on an Aerosmith album. They're hits.
Who's singing lead in the brain grant? I should have thought about this more. Who is singing lead in Warrant now?
Oh God, what's his name? Can't think of his name.
I can't even tell you because I'm lost.
I just saw him on the 80s cruise and they were great.
He sang for Lynch Mob for a little bit. I can't think of his name. Right now.
Warren sounded great.
But yeah, what I've heard with him, he sounded pretty good.
They were fine. They were great. People loved them. Anyway, Alex, excellent choice. Black and Blue definitely could use more love in those Spotify statistics. Oh my God, I was impressed by Dawkins' numbers. And then your Motley Crue, no way. Really? Yeah. People like them that much?
Unfortunately.
Jesus. We never said the humans had any taste. Anyway, let's run over to the Elder of Rock, who also had the Black and Blue album ready at his disposal.
Yep, I was going to pick them, but I can pick somebody else.
Pick whoever you want. Go ahead.
Honorable mentions. But Black and Blue I really loved. The song off the first album, I remember me and my friends really liked because this is what we did most of the time was auto blast, about driving around in your car, cranking music. So it's like, we just really loved that song whenever it came on because that's what we were doing.
And they did a cover of Sweet's Action as well on that album. Yeah, great album. Debut's great album.
And there's a bonus. I think it was on the bonus on a cassette. I don't know if they ever re-released it on CD, but of Without Love, there's a bonus cover of Same Old Song and Dance by Aerosmith.
Yep.
It's pretty good. Not too bad.
Yep. Cool.
All right. So my band, not many people have heard of this. However, if you did watch Decline of Western Civilization Part 2, you did see them in that. And it's a band called Seduce. They're from Detroit, I believe. They were on there. They were kind of they're kind of a hair metal band, but they're a lot heavier. They just kind of have big hair. I don't think they really did the makeup. They did have an album out before this. I think it was just a self-titled album. And the songs are there, but the production I think is really awful, but the energy is there. And they played a song called Crash Landing in the movie. I think they did get together a few times. But they didn't. This is the only album. They only put out 2 albums, but this is really good. I really recommend this. It was from 1988. It's heavy. They do a cover of The Slider, which is a Tommy Bolin song, or I think where T-Rex was it Tommy Bolin or T-Rex? I can't remember.
The Slider's T-Rex.
T-Rex. Okay, sorry, T-Rex. Yeah. So there's my first band, Seduce.
What label is that? Was that released on a major label? What label? I've never.
This is IRS.
I have never seen that CD in my life. That's the only reason I'm asking. I'll be damned, really.
Yeah.
And it looks like you found it used somewhere, or you bought it.
I can't believe it. I've had this CD for like about at least 25 years, and I paid $10 used back then.
I have never seen that in the wild ever.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never really seen it too much either.
Alex, you know that record?
Yes, I do.
God darn it. I'm always impressed. He always knows everything, damn it. What about you, Matt? You know that record?
I don't know the record. I remember him from the movie, but not familiar really with him at all.
We do want to hear from you in the chat down below if you know any of these bands that these gentlemen are talking about, because we really are trying to keep this interactive. So, all right. Excellent choice, Elder. Let's throw it over to Matt. Matt, what you got? What's your pick? Start us off.
My first pick is this one. So Zodiac Mindwarp and the Love Reaction. And when I was thinking about this, so we're doing bands that are forgotten. So to be forgotten, you have to have been known at first, right? And so, Alex, for some of your really obscure ones that you were showing at the beginning, right? What I wanted to do was to have ones who at some point had made the cover of Kerrang. So I figure if you make the cover of Kerrang, you're definitely known. And Zodiac Mindwarp actually was on a cover twice, at least that I've got.
Okay.
And so, there was a buzz. So it's the brainchild of Mark Manning. He was a graphic designer for a metal magazine, and in the future becomes an author. But put this record out, and I've always really liked it. It's kind of a little bit sleazy, a little bit metal, a little bit punk in attitude. Like it's got lyrical references that Ramonesy and Dictators like, and he's got the sort of the words, play on word type stuff is a little bit like Stooges or Dictator stuff. So the very first lyrics, I believe, of the whole album, like on Prime Mover, or I love TV and I love T-Rex, and then later goes sex furor, baby, I'm a love dictator, you're a disco reptile, a funky alligator, right? It's just all this sort of little plays on words, kind of the not a lot of not the deep meaning, more of the Diamond Star hubcap Diamond Star Halo style lyrics, right, to go back to T-Rex. So I always thought it was really good. Kind of reminded me of the Manitoba's Wild Kingdom record also, which I
love that record.
Had the Dictator, a lot of Dictator guys in it. And I was looking up. So Alex, I love your idea about checking the Spotify plays. I wish I had done that for these. That would have been really interesting to see.
This would probably be about 4 people, I think.
Yeah, how forgotten each one of these are.
Could be.
And that was me 4 times. So, but it did. So that record, it hit 132 in the USA. So didn't really do anything there, but it did hit number 20 in the UK, and Prime Mover as a single hit 18 in the UK. So there was a little bit of momentum, but alas, it was not to have longevity. But that is my first pick.
All
Zodiac
right, cool.
Mindwarp.
I remember that album from back in the day. I had never heard it though.
It's good.
But the thing is, you look at that cover. You look at that cover though, but I don't ever get a metal vibe off of it. I'm not sure what kind of vibe I get off of it.
Yeah, it's kind of it's like it's not like
kind of trashy kind of
yeah.
It's like biker sleaze.
Of which there was a lot around that time period, right? Like
Psycho Sluts from Hell and Circus of Power.
Circus of Power. I was just thinking, they were my honorable mentions.
All right, cool. All right, excellent choices so far. Alex, what else you got? I know you've got way
just
more.
real quick back on Zodiac, because I love that album. I love, they did some sporadic stuff after that. There's one thing before it, there was an independent release. He co-wrote Teenage Frankenstein or maybe wrote it entirely for Alice Cooper, which if you listen to that, it sounds like a Zodiac. And he's also a little bit of a Rob Zombie before Rob Zombie in his look and his sound, but awesome.
Oh, I like that comparison. Yeah, that's good.
All right. So my next band is a band that I've loved since the first time I heard them. No one ever talks about them, and we're about to, and that is a band called Smack. And so now I'm going to get a little obscure, but this ties into some major influences, so it sort of counts. They are a Finnish band from Helsinki, same locale as Hanoi Rocks, and sort of that same sound, but taking it to the next step and going into, if you want to talk about sleaze metal, to me, this is the origin. This is the band that did it the best. They were together from 1982 to 1990. If you take, let's say the Stooges and Hanoi Rocks had a baby, they neglected that baby. They put it in the corner. They never bathed it, and it grew up to be an angry teenager. That's what Smack is. The lead singer is Claude Peltola, who, the one thing I think that held them back is his voice is sort of let's say we take Axl Rose and we take Michael Monroe from Hanoi Rocks and put them in a blender. It has that vibe, but with a little bit of an accent on. Mm-hmm. But it works for this music because, again, this is kind of grimy and gritty and dirty and dingy. But I just love this band. So the first album, there's Run Rabbit Run, which is an awesome song and actually was covered by Nirvana in 1988. This band is also influence on Guns N' Roses. You will see in some early photo shoots. I don't know if it was Slash or Axl, but they had a Smack shirt and they have mentioned them before. And to me, they're sort of Guns N' Roses without the pomp and circumstance. So this is just, think Guns N' Roses live like a suicide, right? Before they even did the debut album with Sweet Child of Mine or Paradise City. That's a little too radio friendly versus what Smack was. Smack was more like Guns N' Roses, Maya Michelle or Rocket Queen, but a demo version that wasn't finished. I mean, again, this is to me, I sort of describe this as music if you're going down a dark alley and there's broken bottles and there's crack pipes and there's heroin needles. This is the soundtrack as you're walking through. So if that,
so you're saying wear proper footwear in this alleyway.
Proper footwear.
That's what I'm getting out of it.
Yeah. So then they come out with a second album, which is.
Hold on though, Alec. What label did those come out on? Were those on major labels?
No, these were like import only. They came out on. Enigma released the first two eventually.
Okay.
But this was on Viper Records. And I'm not sure that's even the original pressing. And this is on the second one I have on Pink Dust.
Okay.
So the second one is a little more polished. They have a cover of Stepping Stone. And if you think the Sex Pistols did a great version, throw it out the window. Smack, I'm telling you, just destroys that song. It's incredible. They do have some slower songs. But again, when I say slower and I talk Guns N' Roses, we're not talking Sweet Child of Mine. They're moody. They're haunting. There's a song in here called Ice Drops, which almost sounds like a sleaze lullaby. Again, this is just music that was not made for the mainstream. It was never going to be that popular. Mm-hmm. But anybody that was into the Junkyards and the Sea Hags and those kind of bands,
Sea Hags.
It's definitely Sea Hags. If you like the Sea Hags, Smack is absolutely the band for you. So they put out 2 more albums. I have it on a 2-in-1 comp CD, and then they broke up. And then Claude went on to form a band called the Fish Faces, who put out 1 album, which is not as sleazy. That's more straight ahead rock. And then, unfortunately, a few years after that, he passed away from heart failure. So they had a very kind of short career with not a lot of output, but what they did release, I think, is amazing. And again, if you're into any of that sleaze sound and have never heard Smack, seek them out. Although they're not easy to find, I don't know how much is really in print. Not everything is on streaming, so it's one you have to do a deep dive, but I think it's well worth it.
Yeah, I did a show on the Warehouse. We looked at Sea Hags. So I dig that. So I might dig that. And I'm just surprised. It just seems like this is a band for me that maybe Rock Candy should take a look at and do a reissue.
There were reissues of their first 2 CDs years ago that are long out of print and not cheap. I don't even have a reissue of the second album. I'll do the first. But yes, Rock Candy, Bad Reputation, this would be a perfect release for those labels.
Yep, I agree. All right, cool. Thanks for bringing that. And kids, we're just trying to turn you on to stuff. So go check that band out if you're not familiar with it. Elder. Anyway, Alex, thanks so much. Elder, let's turn it over to you. What's your next pick?
All right, this next one is not so much a band, but a one-off project. This is an album called Herman Z German.
Oh,
Herman
yeah,
Rarebell.
I know that record.
Herman Rarebell, the drummer for the
Yeah.
Scorpions, he put out a solo album. Was this 86 or something? I can't remember.
God, it might be before that.
Yeah. But this is really good. It's got Don Dawkins singing on it. It's got Jack Russell, Great White, singing on it, but not singing like he does in Great White. That he's bringing out more of his metal voice on this. You got Charlie Hunn singing on here, who was in Ted Nugent.
Mm-hmm.
And you got Juan Crochet or however you say his
From
name,
Rat.
playing some bass. And from Rat. So yeah, it's a pretty good record. Not many people talk about it. I don't know how available it is, but
I don't think it ever got I'm not sure, but I don't think I've ever seen a CD release of that. It might
I
only
don't know if it
came
ever
out
got a
on
CD
vinyl.
release for sure. Like I said, I've had this vinyl pretty much since it came out because it was just sounded really good. So
Did that come out on what label did that come out on? Elder?
I have it on Capitol.
I'll be
Records.
damned. Yeah, I don't think it ever came out on CD.
And I can't see the print's too small to see what year it came out. But it's a really good record though, if you can find it. I really recommend it. Like I said, Don Dawkins on it sounded really good. Jack Russell sounding pretty different. And it's got a cover of Wipeout on here. And so got a song called Rock Your Balls, but you got to like a record that has a song called Rock Your Balls. So
You sure that's not on the first Accept album?
right, Rock Your Balls.
Wait a minute. What album was the one with him holding the ball?
Oh, that was Balls to the Wall.
Are you sure it's not on Balls to the Wall?
Right.
It's an AC/DC Accept crossover song.
That's right.
Sure.
Yeah, maybe that should get another re-release. I don't know. Man, I totally forgot about that record. All right, cool. Thanks, Elder. All right, let's throw it over to Matt. Matt, I know you've got something else.
Yeah, I've got something else. So this one, I feel like I'm breaking the rules the most on this one because I don't think this band's that forgotten. But when I was going through the Kerrang magazines, seeing them on the cover, I really wanted to talk about them. So next one's Crimson Glory. And got a great picture there.
Yes.
Of Midnight and John Drenning on there. So they when they started out, they had full masks for it. So like for the debut, they've got the full masks on there. You get I think this may be hard to see, but you get.
Yep. Yeah.
And then at the time of this article, they've kind of gone to the Phantom of the Opera partial type mask, and then eventually they lose the masks at all. And
in the ass or something, I guess.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
I always wondered that. I was like, it's like
sweating like crazy. And but so kind of started with a little bit of a gimmick, but the album Transcendence, I mean, I think is pretty well recognized as a proggish metal classic, and so I don't think they're forgotten from that standpoint. But, I think overall, they had were compared to Queensryche a lot because Midnight was, like Tate was such a powerful singer with such a great range. And, they certainly had the talent of Queensryche and similar commercial appeal and critic credibility. But, it certainly didn't get to that level. They've been rebooted several times with different versions and different singers. Midnight passed away in 2009. And shout out to my parents who were friendly with some of his acquaintances. They went to his service and got to represent me at his funeral service. So, but he was an amazing singer. If you, one of my favorite YouTube things to check out is there's a video of them playing a backyard party in the 80s, and the opening band is doing a cover of Victim of Changes, and they're waving over Midnight, and he's just coming out of the audience. They just hand him the mic from the stage just for the ending screams, and he just holds the last one forever and then takes it up a couple more notes. So he was really, he was a troubled guy, but had a ton of talent. So definitely wanted to throw some love to Crimson Glory because they were just a tremendous band.
Wow. I've never heard any of that stuff.
It's yes,
that's really good stuff. Yeah. Those
Were
first two
they on a
albums
major
especially.
label?
So was it MCA?
No, you know what? So they were. This is on Roadrunner, right? Because
Okay.
there's a story because they're a Florida band. They got picked up originally by some folks that had worked with Savatage, right? Who are same area, but then I think they got kind of hosed over on that, and then got picked up by Roadrunner for I think the first couple albums.
And what year was that debut?
Got like 86 or 87.
Was it 86, 87? Okay.
Might have been. And then they put out an album.
86, I believe.
And then they put out an album that was really weired or something.
The third album is like a
Third,
Led Zeppelin
that
album.
one's not as beloved, and
Yeah.
I'm not quite as. But the Astronomica, which they then later came back with Wade Black singing, I think is phenomenal.
Great album.
Really love that one.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool because throughout, like their lyrics were a bit more thoughtful, very more introspective, a little bit mystical in nature, a little bit of a little bit of not quite like occult stuff, but just more like mysticism type things, or a little bit of sci-fi type stuff. So gave them something a little bit more thoughtful than some of their peers.
All right. Cool. All right. Good pick. All right. We're on time. Oh, we're only at 8:30. Okay. Alex, you got something else for us?
Yeah, just real quick back on Crimson Glory, because that was on my list, and I cut it off, and I'm glad I did because you covered it beautifully. I would just add that Midnight did some solo stuff, which is good. One is kind of hard to find because it was a just called M. But yeah, Cicada was his first official solo album, which is also good. He definitely was a guy that was a little bit out there and a little bit heady, and I think that turned some people off. But those first two albums I put up there with anything that Queensryche did, anything that Fates Warning did. And speaking of that, Todd, who went on to become now singer for Queensryche, replaced Midnight in Crimson Glory as well. So there's that.
He was in one of the other rebooted ones.
Yeah.
And Midnight at one point he had a thing where it was like he had 120 subscribers, and so you would get by being this, you'd get like the early. He was sending you just files basically of early versions of songs and stuff, and that was referenced at his service. They made mention they gave thanks to the 120 and stuff. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, great pick.
Awesome. Cool.
Okay.
All right.
So for my last one, I'm going to cover a band by the name of Sound Barrier. And Sound Barrier is one of the first all African American, not just heavy metal bands, but rock bands. So they formed in LA in 1980. Bernie K, the singer, and Spacey T, the guitarist, are the two main guys behind the band. They had a short run from 80 to 87. And as we were doing this, I realized I don't have a physical copy of their debut. So there's what the cover looks like.
Oh, melodic rock. That's been reissued on CD.
It just came out recently on on Bad Reputation. So this was on MCA,
Bad Reputation.
a major label, came out in 83, but to no fanfare because I don't remember ever seeing anything about this. It's the first album is sort of, it's got some Def Leppard, High and Dry. It's got some early 80s Judas Priest. It's kind of right down the middle, hard rock / heavy metal. It's good. I don't consider it great, and maybe that's part of the problem too, that all the stuff that was coming out, the new wave of British heavy metal, and it just kind of got lost in the shuffle. But it just deserves more attention. I'm glad Bad Reputation just put it out. But they followed, so MCA drops them, they give them a one and done. They follow that up with an EP, which is Born to Rock, and it was put out on their own label, Pitbull Records. This is getting a little bit more towards what would be the next album, a little bit heavier. They do a pointless cover of Born to Be Wild. I don't ever need to hear anyone do a cover of Born to Be Wild. Although, having said that, I think Zodiac Mindwarp might have even... Did they do a cover of that song? I kind of think they did.
Yeah, and it was on like the re-released...
Okay.
Like they did something... There was something that came out later and they put it on that.
Okay.
So
that...
yeah.
That ties it all together. But what's funny about this is, and you can see the cover red and black. On the back, they say the official red and black attack is on, and there's a picture of the band. And this is the same. So this is within the same year that Stryper was doing the yellow and black attack. So it would have been nice to have a tour with the red and the yellow and the black, but that never happened. So then they get one more break. In 1987, they put this album out, and this is Speed of Light. This is now on Metal Blade Records. And so just to get an idea, the hype sticker says Soundberry uses the classic 3-piece plus a frontman lineup and produces enough Strat Marshall thunder to summon Thor. I think that's a pretty good write-up. And it has that power behind it. Now we're getting into full-blown metal. The title track, Speed of Light, sets the tone, but the second track, which is Gladiator, now we hear that gallop of Iron Maiden. So you're getting that influence, that moving away from the hard rock and definitely into heavy metal territory. On the level head banger it starts out with 2 minutes of just instrumental, which is scorching, great guitar work, and then the vocals kick in. They do a cover of Hollywood, Down on Your Luck by Thin Lizzy, and it's a ramped up version of that with a little bite. It sounds like if Thin Lizzy would have done that on Thunder and Lightning and give it a little bit of a metallic edge, that's what you get. To show you a picture of the band. At this point, they broke from their tradition and they replaced the bass player and they added a white guy to the band. But you can see that's the singer there. So kind of looks like a cross between James Brown and Udo. You get Bernie K. But again, this was just a band that, and I remember seeing ads for Speed of Light, so they got some PR on it. It just went nowhere. The band then sort of morphed into, there's a guitarist named Alex Masai, and the first Masai record has Bernie K on vocals because that sound barrier kind of transitioned into Masai. So after that, Bernie K moves on. Spacey T actually joins Fishbone for a while. Long story short, in 2017 they come back together and they play at the Whiskey a concert called Metal Has No Color. And at that we have Doug Pinnick from King's X, we have Corey Glover from Living Color, we have Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine. It's a big event, and from that they end up doing a single that Tom produces called I'm the Man, which is awesome. And that was 2017. That's it. They kind of disappeared again. So I think if you are a metal historian and you want to kind of do a deep dive into what was a great band, but also I think an influential band that would then years later we have the Living Colors and the Body Counts and so forth. This is where it really all originated with Sound Barrier.
All right, cool. All right, excellent. Damn. Bringing it 100%. All right, Elder, what you got? You got to have something else.
All right. This next
He's going to
band
pull out a Sound Barrier album, I bet.
No. This next band did get a little bit of popularity, but I don't think they ever got their due. Most of this band was from Norway, but then and their first album had a singer from Norway, but then they got an American singer named Tony Harnell. TNT. Nice. Yeah. Just totally underrated band. Tony Harnell is one of the best vocalists of metal. He's right up there with Jeff Tate and Rob Halford. He can just hit those high notes really good. Ronnie Latecro, the guitar player, is just total shredder. He just, like I said, just totally underrated. People don't really recognize him enough as being one of the great guitar players. Then they had this album here, which had 10,000 Lovers, which had a video for, and then they did put out an album after that called Intuition, and then Realized Fantasies, and I think they broke up for a little bit, and they got a different singer, and they put a few albums. I don't really know those records that well. I never really heard them because I like just what they did, so I didn't really. And then I think they have gotten back together. They're supposedly going to get back together, maybe do a farewell tour or something, tour one last time and put it to bed. And so there you go. So just totally underrated band, TNT. I got to see them twice. Both really good both times.
Yeah, I know Rock Candy put out that second album. I don't know how many TNT albums they put out on, reissued. I don't know.
Yeah.
The first two are great, and you're right. He has an incredible voice, great range, great control. The problem is that some of these bands, there's just too many good bands, and not everybody makes it, right? And sometimes bad bands, i.e. Motley Crue, get to,
Don't
crazy.
hold back, Alex.
Well, but I'm just saying, do they deserve the sales and the accolades and attention that they get versus
sometimes it's just
I don't know
marketing.
what made
Sometimes it's just
Motley Crue take off. I
getting
have
on the
no
right
idea.
tours and
look, don't get me wrong. I like Motley Crue's first album is great. Second album, as we get further along, less and less so. But to me, there's just so many bands that were on that level.
Right.
And again, it's right place, right time, or wrong place, wrong time. And tonight we're talking about wrong place, wrong time for many of these.
I am just baffled. I don't know why Motley Crue took off. I have no idea.
I just think it just, like I said, it's just I think they had a video on MTV at the right time. Looks to Kill. MTV was just starting, so there was still like they were meeting content, and Motley Crue was there. They had also Live Wire was out too, and they put out Shout the Devil, Looks to Kill, and
Seemed
Too Young to Fall in
dangerous.
Love got really popular. And
again, they have 9.7 million Spotify. So who am I to say?
Who are we to critique? Good
Correct.
for Motley Crue.
Correct.
Hey, you have to hand it to them. The fact that they can go out and tour now and people just still
want to see him.
Despite
Vince Neil.
Good for them. Yeah, good for them. I can't, it's like Guns N' Roses after, they've really put out a couple of records that were something, and man, they can milk it still. Congratulations to them. All right, cool. Matt, what you got? You got one more?
I do. So this would be my number one if we were counting down, and this is Rogue Mail.
Oh yeah, I almost chose
I've seen that album.
Yeah, and so also to check ourselves here, right? So we do get this great cover on Kerrang as well, and they were in Kerrang quite a bit. So Jim Little is the main guy. He's the singer. He came up with the look, which is quite distinctive, and especially on the early ones, like he used to play guitar and everything and writing the songs. So, and he had a punk background prior to the more metal stuff that Rogue Mail is. A lot of the critics talking about them at the time would refer to compare him to Motorhead because vocally there are some similarities with Lemmy, and they'd really play that.
And that's what I thought. Like he sounded like Lemmy.
Yeah, and that's definitely there's definitely similarities. Musically, I thought they were a bit different. The guitars had more of a wet sound, almost like a chorusy sound on the guitars. So if from a Motorhead perspective, if it sounds like any Motorhead, it would be like Another Perfect Day, rather than any of the Fast Eddie or later albums. So I don't really think they sound very Motorhead like, but it's got like this kind of cool retro future look to the band. A lot of times the lyrics are kind of playing into that, like a Mad Max type of a thing. But some of the lyrics are political. Especially they did do a second album at the time, Animal Man. And this one's got a few more, a bit more like political ones. And so, a little bit of like danger of technology and economic challenges. There's a song about the city of Belfast and things like that. So pretty relevant still today, right? So lyrically, like I don't think anything there would be dated. The first record's got Crazy Motorcycle was kind of the single and got picked up on compilations and things like that. So that's the one that probably was most known. But and then secondarily, All Over You, which is just, to me, it's a perfect metal song. The lyrics are completely over the top. It is that when misogynism starts to go into homoeroticism, right? Like it's like Eat Me Alive for Judas Priest or something like that. It is completely over top lyrically, but it's just a really great metal song. So I love both records. I don't know what the story was. I think the first one's on Elektra, and then the second one is on Music for Nations, and I think it didn't do at all. So I don't know what was going on. I think they ended up with lawsuits and things like that going on. So probably some bad deals, bad management, bad marketing, etc. So I think they would qualify as largely forgotten metal band from the 80s.
All right, cool. Excellent. Anybody else have any like honorable mentions? We can wrap it up. Whatever. Just go ahead, Alex. You're up.
Spellbound. Did I mention them?
You did.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure. That's my only honorable mention.
Okay. Elder, you got anything?
Got Keel. Good band.
Yeah.
This particular one was produced by Gene Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
It's got just Ron Keel had a really good distinctive voice. He was in Steeler before this with Yngwie Malmsteen, and they did a few albums, broke up. Ron Keel went country for a little bit, and then I think they've come back, and I think they've had some reunions recently. And then this one is another band.
Ron Keel and Mark Ferrari are on this Black and Blue album.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, cool. And then this one is again another band that was in Decline of Western Civilization, the metal years. Now I had this album before I was actually kind of disappointed in their appearance in that, because this album here by Odin, this is an EP actually, and they didn't really sound anything like they did on this album in that movie, because this album is like, the guy's got a great voice, similar maybe to Tony Harnell a little bit, singing really high. The guitar playing is really good. They're
show the back cover.
Yeah, they're like glam metal. You can tell they're kind of.
God, I don't remember that at all.
Yeah.
But they didn't really sound glam metal too much. They had a video for that song "Shining Love" on here. I remember seeing that a couple of times on MTV. And that was a really good song. I think they maybe put out a couple albums. I can't remember for sure. I think Randy O sang for another band. Can't remember what it was, but anyway. So, and then also there's another band called Warrior that was really good. I can't remember, I didn't get their album out, and a band from England called Wrathchild, who were very glammy, but I got their one album anyway, Stack Attack. I thought that was pretty good. So,
all right, cool. Matt, you got anything else?
Yeah, I got a few honorable mentions. So one would be Baron Rojo. So a Spanish heavy metal band. So again, making the cover of Kerrang. I kind of like a new wave of British heavy metal style band, but one of the ones where they both sound and look a little bit 70s ish, still. So like a little bit of Saxon look to them. But probably the Spanish language singing would put a cap on their commercial viability worldwide, sort of like Sortilege as well from France, who's an amazing band. But again, I think probably the French language, they did do, I think one of them, they did an English version of them, but that probably capped some of their popularity. Vane, kind of a hair metal band, but had really good singer, really good guitar playing, just good sound production. This one I had to pull out, and I've checked out some of the things. I actually didn't listen to them back in the day, but this was so Baby Taku made along with Chrome Molly make a Kerrang cover, and the singer for Baby Taku is he's a really good singer. So
What a name.
it's kind of I don't know the full story there, but I thought that was the most obscure as I was going through, and then just a couple others that again, Slave Raider made it, so you get the pirate chainsaw.
That's the other band I was trying to think of when you said Zodiac Mindwarp.
Yeah,
I was trying to
right.
think there's another band that was like that, and Slave Raider. That was it.
Slave Raider.
Nowhere near as good as Zodiac, but I have Slave Raider as well, and it's enjoyable, but it's a little corny.
Yeah. And I mean, Ready to Fight Jackal, right?
I think they had a video or something, and
Yeah.
that's how I remember. And then I remember it was sort of corny.
And the one album, I think he dresses up like an old judge with the white wig, and he has a gavel, and yeah.
And I guess he had like a wandering eye, so
Yeah, how eye patch.
wore the eye patch and stuff.
Uh-huh.
'Cause it was-
Yeah.
Wandering Eye, like the guy in Men at Work.
yeah, that's right. Who?
You didn't know which one
Colin
to
Hay.
look into. Yeah, like Colin Hay. You didn't know which one to look at.
And then just a couple that we had mentioned just to share. So we talked about Circus of Power had come up as sort of in that motorcycle, and then Sea Hags. So again, all of them making Kerrang covers. So there's definitely buzz around them. Others that came to mind were Lizzie Borden, but didn't make the cover. I guess that's it. That's enough.
All right, cool. All right, kids, there you have it. There's a lot that this panel tried to turn you on to. So there you go. You have your homework to do. If you know any of these bands, we do want to hear from you in the chat. If you don't, go out and check them out, because we're all just trying to turn you on to stuff. If you would like to be on these panels, we'd love to have you. We always like new blood. And, it's always fun. We're just trying to talk music. So we have a Patreon if you'd like to support the channel that way. If that's too much for you to handle, we have a Ko-fi. Buy us a pint or a cup of coffee. We'd appreciate that. We are just here talking music. So it's no more than that. So anyway, please subscribe at least, and leave a comment down below. We will be back for more. What's next on the Contrarians? I'm not exactly sure, but something will be back. We aren't going anywhere, kids. All right. Nice to see you, Alex. Thanks, Elder. Matt. See you, gentlemen. Thanks for another great show. We'll see you on the next one.